When is there enough? No. Let's start that one again. When is enough when it comes to feeding your garden, folks? And I'm not just talking about feeding as far as a fertilizer. I'm talking about compost and mulch. When is enough? You know, when you've got a garden bed like this one here, let's talk about this one here, okay? Now, this one here is 200, 400 above ground, sunken down, it's about 300 deep, which is pretty average. That's what you want with a garden bed as far as soil's concerned and holding its moisture. Well, this bed here is always bloody dry because the humus hasn't developed underneath. And what is humus? Well, it's just Earth's own version of a sponge that holds moisture and releases the moisture as it needs it. Now, this bed here hasn't developed that enough, and I have topped it up, but not enough. So when is enough? Well, it's never enough, to be quite honest with you, because you're always going to be topping up your garden beds. But as far as rectifying an issue like I've got with this bed here, and the reason I've got the issue with this bed here is not because I started with my own stuff, our compost and planting, it's because I bought in a few years ago, or I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe 4, I bought in a heap of garden mix, as you would get from your local garden supplies. Well, this batch was contaminated, and for those who've never seen that little video, this whole garden bed and all the other garden beds, on the raised beds on the other side, struggled. They literally struggled. Nothing would grow in it for 2 or 3 seasons in a row. I get very little success out of it. Now, I've been adding to this bed here, topping it up, but obviously not enough, because we've watered the other garden beds. These are, come over here, just follow me, let's walk together. I can't go with this hose, but come along here. These beds have been a couple of years old, all right? That's a couple of years old, and this hasn't been watered. Now, I know we've got the dead basil, but you know what I do with my flowers? I let them fall down, and then we grow the little nursery, and then we separate them and divide. This bed is thriving as far as the moisture is concerned at the bottom here. Let me get a handful of it. That's it there, I just squeezed it. That's our mix underneath there, holding its moisture. It squeezes beautifully. Did I just squash a worm? Yes, I did. Look at that poor little bugger. Look at that, I just squashed it. Now, it is full of life because the moisture's there. No moisture, no life. So what do you need to do to fix that? You just gotta keep adding. Just keep adding organic matter. We're talking quality soil, you know, compost and straw. Get that from your local garden centre or supplies. I'm sure they've all got some good stuff there. Not some not so good stuff as well. Well, you get what you pay for, you know that. So you buy cheap and then you buy expensive and you try to blend it together to cut costs. I don't know, I don't want to do that anymore. I've tried that in the past. I don't like it. You just don't know what's in the cheap stuff. You know, you're putting some quality stuff into the garden bed to help it, you know, come to life and hold its moisture and populate the life in the soil. And then you add the cheap stuff, and more than likely you're probably killing half of that life in the soil. So focus on the quality of the product you're getting, get less, and don't try and get it all at once, whatever you choose. And if you find that you've added a fine layer over the top and it's still struggling to hold its moisture, well, it needs bloody more. And that's what I've got to do here. I've got to put more on it. We put the mulch down. It's actually activated some of the plants. You can see all the seedlings growing. It's a very messy garden. Don't judge it, because I do nothing to it. I literally do nothing. I didn't even put this mulch down. One of the team members here had some leftover mulch in the barrel and said, oh, I'm just going to throw it over here. I said, all right, just throw it there. And that's what they've done. So that's our mulch underneath there. You can see dry. See that? Dry. Dry, because it's just not getting, look at that, just dry. And you see me how long I've been watering here. So this bed here is a challenge. Failing me ripping it all out and digging it all out and throwing it away and starting fresh with our own mix, the only other option is to constantly layer and keep the hydration up. Admittedly, this hasn't had a water for about a week, and it hasn't rained, and it's, you know, it's mild, it's not freezing, and it hasn't been definitely hot to say that it's dehydrating, because the other beds aren't drying out. This soil is crap underneath there, and I haven't spent enough time to work it. So when you work on your garden, think about the amount of effort you put into it and the amount of product that you're actually laying into it. Because I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of inquiries, and continue bringing them on. I'm happy with that. But if you say to me, I've got a 3 by 3 metre garden bed and I put some compost on it and I put the mulch on it, but it's still not working, and then you send me a photo, because I asked for photos, and I see you've put probably 2 bags of compost in a 3 by 3 and, you know, a couple of bags of mulch on top, so thin like that, it's not going to do anything. The analogy to that would be like going out in the cold air with a singlet on. It's not going to work. You're going to freeze. Or putting a big duffer coat on out in the stinking hot sun. You're overdoing it. So don't overdo it, but don't put it so thin either. So layer it. And if you can't do it all at once, well, work at it slowly. So, 1 month, add a bag or 2, a little bit of straw, work on it, keep the water going on, and then when you get another opportunity, get another bag on top of that. Don't remove the mulch, put it straight over the top of the mulch. That way you've got those lasagna effect, and it's layering. You're getting a bit of an air pocket, you're getting a bit of compost in there, and you get a bit of decomposition, and then all the microbes and the composty creatures turn up in between the layers of your compost or soil that you're using, and that way it all starts to work upwards and downwards. And you need to keep hydrating, because as you just saw earlier, I didn't put this mulch down and it was a little bit thick straight over the top, which is okay, but the mulch needs to be hydrated, and once that's hydrated, the moisture will travel through. So remember, when you water as well, don't just water the mulch, make sure it penetrates through if it's a notoriously dry garden bed. If it's always moist and you've got the good quality planting mix as we have, well, you shouldn't have to worry so much. Well, I've done the damage here, I haven't put enough in, so I've got to fix this garden back. Slowly, it'll happen. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. As you're watching this, it's Friday morning. I'll be halfway up to Adelaide, folks, heading up there with the team. So we're opening up our Thebarton store there for the weekend. So pop down if you're in South Australia, get your click and collect orders in there as well. Take advantage of our specials, because it's a long weekend coming up. So we've got some great deals coming along. vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi.